In 2025, the United States created a new millionaire roughly every 72 seconds. But only 35% of non-retired Americans said their retirement plan was on track. Today, we're finding out which side of that gap you're actually moving toward. And I'm not going to hand you a motivational speech or a magic number pulled from a retirement calculator. I'm going to show you the machine underneath the number. We'll follow one person through 3 possible financial futures. Same age, same salary, same starting balance. By retirement, the difference between those futures can be more than $1 million. If you want personal finance explained with real math and no rented Lamborghini nonsense, subscribe to Ethan Cole and hit the like button. Now let's answer the question that matters. What does on track actually mean in 2026? First, we need to clean up the language. When someone says millionaire, they usually mean a person or household with a net worth of at least $1 million. Net worth is simple. Everything you own minus everything you owe. Your home equity counts. Your 401k counts. Cash counts. A business can count. Then, mortgages, student loans, car loans, credit card balances, and other debts are subtracted. That number matters, but it does not tell you how much income your wealth can produce. Imagine a household with a paid-off $700,000 home, $200,000 in retirement accounts, $80,000 in cash, and a $40,000 car. That household is technically worth more than $1 million, but only part of that wealth can pay the grocery bill without selling something. You can live in your house. You cannot withdraw 4% of the kitchen. That gives us 3 different scorecards. Scorecard 1 is net worth, assets minus debts. Scorecard 2 is investable wealth, the money that can actually compound and eventually produce income. Scorecard 3 is financial runway, how many months your liquid resources could cover your essential expenses if your paycheck stopped. Those numbers answer different questions. Net worth asks, what have I accumulated? Investable wealth asks, what can my money produce? Runway asks, how quickly would an emergency control my decisions? A high net worth can look impressive and still leave you cash poor. A modest net worth with a growing portfolio and 6 months of runway can feel far more powerful in daily life. So if your goal is to become a multi-millionaire, decide which version you mean. $2 million of net worth, $2 million invested, or enough assets to replace your lifestyle? Those are not the same finish line. Let's say your target is a $2 million investment portfolio. Morningstar's latest retirement income research uses 3.9% as a base case starting withdrawal rate for a 30-year retirement with steady inflation-adjusted spending. 3.9% of $2 million is $78,000 in the first year before taxes. That is excellent. It can replace a solid middle-class paycheck without asking anyone for vacation approval. But it is not private jet money. It is independence money. And the account type matters. $2 million inside a traditional 401k is not the same as $2 million in a Roth account because future taxes are still waiting inside the traditional account. $2 million that includes a primary residence is also different from $2 million in a diversified portfolio. Then there is Social Security, housing costs, health insurance, your retirement age, whether you want to leave an inheritance, whether your spending can fall during bad market years. This is why a universal magic number is lazy advice. A better starting point is this. Take the annual spending you expect your investments to cover and divide it by a cautious withdrawal rate. If you need $60,000 a year from your portfolio, dividing by 3.9% gives you a target near $1.54 million. If you need $90,000, the target is about $2.31 million. The portfolio should fit the life. The life should not be invented to justify a fashionable number. Now let's make this real. Maya is 32. She earns $78,000 a year, has $42,000 invested for retirement, and is doing what millions of responsible adults do. Paying bills, making progress, and still wondering why progress feels so slow. She has no secret inheritance coming. No startup about to be acquired. No plan to turn 12 rental properties into passive income while sleeping. She has one paycheck and 33 years until age 65. We are going to give Maya 3 futures. For each one, we'll calculate in today's purchasing power and use a range of 5% to 7% annual returns after inflation. 5% is the more cautious case, 7% is the stronger historical style case. Neither is a promise. Future number 1. Maya contributes 5% of her gross income, about $325 per month, and never increases it in real terms. By 65, she could have roughly $545,000 to $922,000 in today's dollars. That is meaningful wealth, but it is not $2 million. Future number 2. Maya directs 15% of gross income to retirement, including any employer contribution. That is about $975 per month. Now her projected range becomes approximately $1.2 million to $1.93 million. Same woman, same job, same starting balance. The contribution rate changed, and the likely destination moved by roughly $650,000 to $1 million. Future number 3. Maya eventually reaches that same 15% rate but waits 8 years to begin. At 40, she starts investing $975 per month. By 65, her projected range is about $800,000 to $1.21 million. Waiting did not cost her 8 years of deposits. It cost her 8 years of deposits plus every future year of growth those deposits could have produced. That is why delay is so expensive. Its price is invisible today and enormous later. But here is the detail most finance videos skip. Maya should not treat the optimistic return as her guaranteed future. If she wants $2 million in today's purchasing power by age 65, her required monthly investment is not one precise number. With her existing $42,000, it is roughly $1,023 per month at a 7% real return, but about $1,772 per month at 5%. That gap is not a rounding error. It is the difference between a favorable market assumption and a cautious plan. So the intelligent question is not, what return can I assume to make the calculator tell me yes? The intelligent question is, does my plan still work if returns are lower, inflation is stubborn, or I lose a few working years? A plan that succeeds only in perfect weather is not a plan. It is a forecast wearing confidence. If this is already more useful than another video telling you to stop buying coffee, hit the like button and subscribe to Ethan Cole. It tells YouTube that serious financial education still has an audience, and it helps me keep making videos like this. Maya's 3 futures reveal how the system actually works. Income creates capacity. Your savings rate captures part of that capacity. Ownership puts those savings into assets that can grow. Time multiplies the result. And friction removes pieces along the way. Friction is high-interest debt, excessive fund fees, taxes that could have been reduced legally with the right account, constant trading, selling in panic. Lifestyle upgrades that consume every raise before the raise has a chance to build anything. Most people focus almost entirely on income because income is visible. You can put it on a resume, you can compare it with a coworker, you feel it every payday. But income is only raw material. A person earning $150,000 and investing $6,000 a year is sending 4% of gross income into the machine. Someone earning $75,000 and investing $11,250 is sending 15%. The higher earner has more capacity. The lower earner is capturing more of what passes through their hands. Over a long enough period, behavior can overpower the salary gap. That does not mean income is irrelevant. Higher income makes saving easier, and no spreadsheet can pretend otherwise. Housing, healthcare, childcare, transportation, and food create a floor below which money simply cannot be redirected. The Federal Reserve reported that in 2025, only 63% of adults could cover a $400 emergency entirely with cash or its equivalent. That means more than 1 in 3 could not. You cannot invest money that emergencies keep taking back. So for many people, the first investment is not an index fund. It is stability, a starter emergency buffer, control of high-interest debt, adequate insurance, and enough breathing room to stop every surprise expense from becoming a new balance on a credit card. Once that floor is stable, automation becomes the most important employee in your financial life. It works on payday, does not get excited by headlines, and never decides that this month is different. Now let's talk about the benchmarks. Fidelity's familiar guideline suggests having 1 times your salary saved by 30, 3 times by 40, 6 times by 50, 8 times by 60, and 10 times by 67. That can be a useful planning checkpoint. It is not a moral grade. It assumes a retirement age, a savings history, a lifestyle, and years of access to retirement accounts. Change the assumptions and the benchmark changes too. Vanguard's 2026 data show why comparing yourself with an average can be misleading. Among participants in its defined contribution plans, the average account balance was about $167,970. The median was only $44,115. The average is almost 4 times the median because large balances pull it upward. And even the median is not the typical American. It describes people inside the Vanguard plan studied. Workers without access, people between jobs, and assets held elsewhere are different populations. The retirement system itself has also shifted. In March 2025, only 14% of private industry workers had access to a traditional defined benefit pension, while 70% had access to a defined contribution plan. That is a transfer of responsibility. Under a pension, the institution promised a formula. Under a 401k, the worker must choose whether to participate, how much to contribute, what to own, how to react during crashes, and how to convert the final balance into income. The modern worker is expected to be an employee, portfolio manager, risk manager, and retirement planner, often without ever receiving a 1-hour class on any of it. So if you feel behind, shame is useless. Diagnosis is useful. Do you have an income problem where essential costs leave no surplus? Do you have a capture problem where raises disappear into lifestyle expansion? Do you have a debt problem where yesterday's spending is charging rent to today's paycheck? Or do you have an investing problem where money is saved but never given a chance to grow? Different problem, different solution. Here is a simple system you can run once a year, not every day, not whenever the market drops 2%, once a year. Number 1, calculate your financial runway. Take liquid cash reserved for emergencies and divide it by essential monthly expenses. If you have $9,000 available and essential costs of $3,000, you have 3 months of runway. This number measures resilience, not wealth. Number 2, calculate your retirement capture rate. Add your annual contributions and your employer match, then divide by gross income. If $9,000 reaches retirement accounts on a $75,000 salary, your rate is 12%. This measures how much of today is being transferred to your future. Number 3, calculate your funded ratio. Estimate the portfolio required to support your desired retirement spending. Then divide your projected portfolio by that target. If your stress-tested projection is $1.2 million and your target is $1.5 million, you are roughly 80% funded under those assumptions. The value of this calculation is not that it predicts the future perfectly, it exposes the size of the adjustment. Maybe you raise contributions by 2%. Maybe you work 2 additional years. Maybe you plan for slightly lower retirement spending. Maybe you use half of every future raise to increase investing before lifestyle has time to claim it. Maybe you discover that you are already doing better than your anxiety suggested. Then run 2 projections, a base case and a stress case. Use lower returns in the stress case. Include investment fees. Keep inflation in the calculation. If your model mixes future dollars with today's spending, it can make a fantasy look like precision. Finally, review the plan after major life changes: marriage, divorce, a new child, a home purchase, a layoff, a large raise, not after every alarming thumbnail on the internet. If the numbers say you are behind, do not attempt to fix a 25-year gap in one painful month. Start with a sequence you can survive. First, contribute enough to capture the full employer match if your plan and cash flow allow it. A match is part of your compensation. Second, build a starter buffer while attacking high-interest consumer debt. The exact balance between those two depends on your job stability and risk, but having no cash at all can send you straight back into debt. Third, automate a contribution you can maintain through ordinary life. not a heroic amount you will cancel in 6 weeks. Fourth, increase it gradually. 1 percentage point every 6 or 12 months can change the long-term result without making your budget feel as if it was hit by a truck. Fifth, consider directing half of each raise toward investing. You still improve your life today, but your future receives a raise too. Sixth, keep the portfolio diversified and low cost. Complexity should have to prove its value. Boredom is not a defect when the goal requires decades. And seventh, protect the plan from interruption. The best portfolio in the world cannot compound money you are forced to withdraw every time the car, roof, or job breaks. This is education, not individualized financial advice. Taxes, account rules, investment risk, and the right strategy depend on your situation. But the arithmetic gives you a place to begin. So are you on track to become a multi-millionaire? The honest answer is not hiding in your salary, your age, or a national average. It is inside the relationship between what you spend, what you consistently invest, how long it remains invested, and how much friction you allow to reach it. The latest 2026 data show that more than 440,000 Americans joined the millionaire population in a single year. That headline sounds like a finish line racing away from you. But your real competition is not with 440,000 strangers. It is between your current system and the system your goal requires. $1 million is a label, 2 million is another label. Financial freedom is the ability to make a decision without your next paycheck having the final vote. That freedom begins long before the word millionaire appears on any statement. It begins when one emergency stops becoming a crisis. It grows when part of every raise remains yours. And it becomes real when your money can support more of your life than your labor has to. So this week, do not ask, am I rich yet? Ask 3 better questions. How many months of runway do I have? What percentage of my income am I actually investing? And does my plan survive a less than perfect future? Write down the answers. Then change one number. If this video gave you a clearer way to measure your progress, subscribe to Ethan Cole, hit the like button, and share it with someone who earns decent money but still feels like the finish line keeps moving. And in the comments, tell me which lever you are changing this year. Your savings rate, your timeline, or the friction draining your progress. No personal dollar amounts required. Because wealth is rarely built by one dramatic decision. It is built when an ordinary decision becomes automatic, and stays automatic long enough to become extraordinary.